Right, back we are again. I've quickly done the maths on those things for you, put them into my calculator, and these are what I've come out with: 920, 919, 926 and 929. So you can see over year one we've got a pretty consistent amount of sales, and we have more in winter and spring, and we've actually probably just done not as good a job in summer and autumn in the first year, regardless of the seasons. So we've taken out the seasonal factor. So I'll just quickly put them into our table for us. 919, 926, sorry, helps if I write what I say, 926 and 929. So we're not being affected by the seasons anymore, we are deseasonalised, we've taken out our season values. Let's quickly go on to number 2, let's go on to year 2. So for summer for year 2, we actually sold 1,035 jackets. Our seasonal index was 1.01. Actually sold 1,035. 1.01 was our seasonal index. And that equaled 1,025. So already we're doing better in year 2 than we were in year 1. Which makes sense, because remember before we said our business is increasing across a number of years. So that makes sense with our data. 1,025. So we've got this first year and we've already increased the second year. That makes sense that the graph will be going up over a period of time. So autumn in year 2, 1180 out of 1.12. Autumn, 1180 out of 1.12, which was 1,054. So again, even better than a 900 kind of numbers in our first year. Even better than we sort of would have thought that we would be going this year so far. So increased even from summer to autumn. Winter in year 2. Winter in year 2. Winter in year 2. 1356 over 1.32. Winter 1356 over 1.32. And that was 1027. So we haven't done as well as we did in autumn that year, but we've still done better than summer just by 2 jackets, which is not really very much. So pretty consistent there. 1,027. Spring of year 2, 541, and the seasonal index was 0.53. Spring, 541 jackets, but our seasonal index was only 0.53, so that should normalise that. When we divide that, we would have sold, if seasons didn't exist, 1,021. That was our expected average for that. That quarter of that year, 1,021. So you can see our strengths, at least in year 2, was really this autumn in year 2. That was a strength for us as a business, whatever we did there. And probably our weakest point, that was 1,021, probably our weakest point was this spring of year 2. Even though still we've sold more than spring in year 1. So our business is increasing over a period of time. And our strong point was autumn in year 2 so far, for year 2, and our strong point in year 1 was spring in year 1. So what did we do in spring in year 1 and what did we do in autumn in year 2? Let's look at year 3. So in year 3, we actually sold 1299 and our seasonal index was 1.1. So, summer, we actually sold 1,299, index was 1.10, so we actually would have sold, if seasons didn't exist, 1,181. I might just rush through the last ones. 1324 over 1.12. Which was 1182. So almost exactly the same as summer again. Summer, autumn were pretty consistent that year, so it must not have changed very much in terms of effective business strategies. Winter, 1450 over 1.23. Which was 1179. 1179. So that's looking not as good as 1182 and 1181. Not as good that winter. Finally, spring. 659 is our actual amount of data, actual sales. and our seasonal index was 0.56. So our deseasonalised information for spring, 1177. 1177. So really standing back and looking at this data, and here's the graphical version, we can see over a period of time we've increased our sales as a business. Here's our weak points, here's our peak, and here's our strong point, here's our weak point, here's another weak point where it dropped just there. Or we could look at each year and say here's our strong points is 1182 and 1181 that year, as opposed to the winter and the spring. One thing that this won't tell us is maybe we were just selling drastic discounts in winter, and we didn't factor that into the data. We sold more jackets, but we actually didn't make more money because we sold them at a smaller price. Maybe that's something that is imperfect about this system, but assuming that we sold all the ski jackets at the same price, we can clearly see that our best time was this summer in year 3, so 1181 was pretty good there, and this spring in year 4, 929, was not too good compared to what we expected. So here's our general trend over a period of time. That's what deseasonalising data will do. It will say if seasons didn't exist, here's the trend that our business is going, which is incredibly useful because obviously it's very difficult to predict how your business is going when you're a season that's largely a business which is largely affected by the seasons. That's it for this. I'll do one more thing, which is on the last 7E, that's about forecasting, and that'll be it for all of time series and all of core.